Welcome to episode 2 of the Ozarks Business Spotlight podcast. We are here today with, of course, Jason Deal from Insurance Group of the Ozarks.
Hi, everyone.
And Summer Ward with It Works.
Hello.
And we are going to get to know Summer a little bit better. Thank you for everyone who listened to last week's podcast. Taylor did a great job. Hopefully you learned some more about massage therapists. I learned that you're not supposed to call a massage therapist a masseuse, because that's pretty much just calling him a girl, which isn't an insult as it was, but anyway. So
good to have clarification.
Yes, very good. In case you do find someone that was offended by such things. Today, as I said, we're here with Summer, and she is pretty high up with It Works. And, just to jump right into it, I guess, Summer, maybe you should tell us how you got involved with It Works, what it is, and maybe explain your level within the company.
I am a presidential diamond, which is the second highest rank in the company. When I started this, that was not on my radar at all. I had no knowledge about network marketing. I was a teacher, PE teacher. I did elementary PE and a high school volleyball and basketball coach. And my husband was in dental school full-time, so I was our sole income earner, which is not a great income, especially I wasn't even full-time teaching, so it was like part-time teaching salary, coaching, and we were living in Kansas City, kind of just barely scraping by, and I had started looking for another part-time job just to help pay for our bills, and It Works kind of fell into my lap. My best friend called me, and she had just seen a post about it on Facebook, and I had never even heard of it before, never heard of the wraps, and she asked me about getting started and as a customer, and it was actually only $40 more to join as a distributor, and I thought, well, I might as well give it a try, and you get 4 wraps in your business builder kit, and so I really didn't have any intention of doing much with it. I just thought, I'd use the wraps myself and maybe get a few customers out of a few close friends and family and just make a little extra on the side and maybe not have to get a waitressing job at night or something. And I fell in love with the company. I fell in love with the products. Like I said, I was a PE teacher. I did health as well. And all of our products it's a health and wellness company. So it's natural-based products. We have a nutritional supplement line. We call it a lifestyle line. And the wraps are a quick fix, which is what everybody in America loves. It tightens, tones, and firms your skin in 45 minutes, which is awesome. Instant results. But there's also, a nutrition side to it, and there's coaching involved as well, which I love. I get to coach my team. I get to coach my clients on how to lead a healthier lifestyle, and people that do lead a healthier lifestyle are obviously going to have a lot better results with our wraps.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting you talk about that. I wanted to bring up, she brought Jason and I some energy drinks. She calls them healthy energy drinks, and so if you hear us taking a sip or you hear, hold on, I'm going to open the can real quick. Okay. And we're going to drink these, and at the end, if you can ask us what we think about it, that sort of thing. So that'll be interesting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I maybe need a little bit of a pick-me-up at this point too, so this could help, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
And now I have talked to you quite a bit. We're just like Taylor last week. Summer is part of the same networking group that's part of the mob called 38 Special that we meet with on every Wednesday morning. And so I've known her for a while, and I know a few things about her. On top of obviously putting your husband through dental school, right, and helping through that and being the sole income earner. At this point in time, I see your Facebook posts all the time talking about one of the other major benefits of being a mother who works with It Works.
Yes.
And you have 2 boys, right?
Yes.
And how old are they?
I have a 15-month-old Hutchins and a 3-year-old Haxton.
Yeah.
They are 2 wild little boys.
Fun.
Yeah, and your husband is now through dental school, right?
Right. He's working as a dentist in Buffalo, Missouri.
Okay. And his name is Brett, if
yes.
I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Okay. And as far as the schooling, you taught in the school for how long?
I think about 4 years. I graduated from teaching or with my teaching degree in December. And so I actually worked here at Missouri State as a grad assistant in the PE department for a semester. And then, about 4 years of teaching and coaching. I started coaching in college, though. I started coaching when I was 20 years old. So I was an assistant coach. So I did that for, I think, 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
And loved it. I absolutely loved my job. I thought I had my dream job for sure. And I loved teaching and coaching, and I still love sports. And I definitely never thought this would turn into a full-time career until I did want to start a family. And then I realized, to me, I loved my kids more, and I wanted to spend every moment with them. So with It Works, I have the opportunity to work from home and be with them all the time. And I do miss teaching and coaching sometimes, but at the same time, they're only little once. And so if I ever want to go back to that, I can. But for now, this is just a perfect fit. And this, like I said, this company has blessed us way more than I ever imagined. I never intended it on it being a full-time career, but I'm definitely glad that it worked out that well.
Now, you're talking to two guys that probably haven't thought an awful lot about body wraps and things of that nature before.
Are you sure?
Well, I haven't thought about it much. I mean, maybe I should. Should we be thinking about this sort of thing? I guess that the reason I asked that is who's a good client? Who are the kind of people that would be interested in It Works as far as buying the products?
You'd actually be surprised at how many guys are interested. A lot of them are closet wrappers. They maybe say have their wife buy them, or don't want to admit to their friends and that they're wrapping. But yeah, we actually have a lot of even distributors that men that do really well in this company. But it's just an addition to a healthy lifestyle. So people that are working out, men that I have bodybuilders that wrap before an event. I mean, it's not going to give you abs, but if you've got them, it's going to show them off more.
Okay.
And it's just tightening and toning in your skin. It's not a weight loss product, which is a big misconception. And it does help with cellulite, loose skin, and stretch marks. So moms typically have that more, especially the stretch marks. But a lot of people have stretch marks. Kids have stretch marks. So from growing too quickly or whatever. So really anybody. When I started this business, I was very pigeonholed on who I talked to, and it was primarily women and moms. And I didn't talk to older women. I didn't talk to men about it. And I've been doing this for 4.5 years, and I've definitely learned not to assume that anybody wouldn't be interested, because you would be surprised. I have, customers in their 80s. I have men all across the board. I have tiny little people that weigh 100 pounds that I thought, what are you going to wrap? That's, but they do. Everybody has, what they consider maybe a problem area that they're not, we look in the mirror and we are our biggest critiques. And so, it's also almost like a spa treatment, I think. And so sometimes I just want to wrap to enjoy the process and the feeling. It gives you a little bit of a tingle, kind of like a BioFreeze or an Icy Hot. It's just a relaxing, and it's nourishing to your skin. So sometimes it's even just about that.
Now, It Works is known mostly for the crazy wrap thing.
Right.
But there are plenty of other products that you guys have that may, even if a guy is less worried about the wrapping of their skin, there's supplements and other things like that they have that people may be interested in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are known for our wrap. It is a flagship product. Nobody else has anything like that, and that's why we call it that crazy wrap thing, because a lot of people it's unbelievable. I mean, I've had women cry and be in tears when they take the wrap off, because it's helped with stretch marks that have been there for 40 years or whatever. It is something different. It's not something you can go find a knockoff version of, and that's what's propelled our company so quickly, I believe. But yeah, a lot of people get into it with the wraps, but then they discover our other products and they get hooked on those for life. You're not going to wrap every week for the rest of your life, but we have a huge nutritional supplement line, and there are products in there that people fall in love with and want to take on a daily basis. I have several. These energy drinks, same kind of thing. It's not something you're going to want every single day. Some people, but...
Very good, by the way. I mean, I've had some. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's tasty. I usually don't go for energy drinks, but this has a good flavor to it. I can see myself drinking this on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't feel like it has that aftertaste. Like
No, it doesn't.
A regular one.
Like all those chemicals that they shove down you.
Right.
That's why you call this one healthier, I would say.
Yes, it is. It doesn't have any stimulants in it. I was explaining this to you guys earlier. It's only got 13 grams of sugar, and it is low on the glycemic index, so it's not going to spike your sugar levels up and then crash, a few hours later.
Very important for everybody, but especially me or in anybody else who is diabetic. So
Absolutely.
One of the reasons why we wanted you on so early in the podcast was, again, because we knew you so well from the group, but also a little bit of a selfish reasons. You are very prolific, let's call it, at network marketing. I know you're part of the mob, and I see your Facebook posts all the time, and you make a really good, so we're hoping you'll help promote us too. So
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So it's something that we could use. Tell us a little bit about that, about how you use network marketing and social media to use something like It Works, which allows you to work from home.
Yeah, that's like I said in the beginning, I didn't have any experience with network marketing, but I do have a lot of experience with talking and sharing and Facebook. I love Facebook. Whenever I started this, we were living in Kansas City, so I was about 6 hours away from most of my friends and family. So Facebook was huge then. It is now, but it was a huge way for me to connect with friends and family. And so, honestly, when I started, there wasn't any training on it. It was I just posted about it because I, was excited about it. And
Sure.
I think excitement sells. And true, honest, genuine, people know that I'm not going to make stuff up and lie about things. And so I'm posting all these pictures of these tummies, and people are probably like, what is she doing? Someone has hacked her Facebook page.
Sure.
But it is something that you kind of just have to see to believe. And so we like to share a lot of before and after pictures for people to be able to see what it can do and to be able to connect with a picture, hey, that looks just like me. That's what my stomach looks like, or, that's what my legs look like, or that's what my neck looks like. And, being able to connect with that. So I use social media a lot for my advertising. I probably built about 90% of my business through Facebook.
Okay.
I've been using Instagram as well, but I'm not so great at that yet. But it's just about consistency, and we compare it to owning a store and having your open sign on. I am consistent with my Facebook posts because I want people to constantly know that that's what I'm doing, and they may not want wraps or our products at that moment, but next summer when they're going on a vacation, they're going to remember me and they're going to call me because they know that I'm still doing this, and it's a consistent thing. And as far as just like promoting things in network marketing, we do a lot of social media training in It Works because we are a global company. So that's one of the things I really like about it is we don't have to hand deliver our products. We ship to 18 different countries. I have customers all over the United States. So when I talk to people about joining the business, that is a lot of people's reservation is, I live in a small town, or I don't know there are even people, or my family lives in Texas. But you can have customers anywhere. Our products are shipped directly to them, so that's one of the cool things I like about it too.
We talked a little bit about that last week, about the name recognition of things. That Taylor talked about the puns that Tax Break does.
Yeah,
and it's not even about selling something right now. It's sometimes just about making people be aware that you exist and that your product exists.
Exactly.
Sure. Well, and more to that, since meeting you, I've seen a lot of the It Works magnets on the side of vehicles driving around towns. I'd never noticed it before, and now
Right.
I see it I actually saw one as I was pulling in here that wasn't you. So my question is, how many distributors are there locally that you know of? And I guess my follow-up to that would be, you've had great success in reaching, what was the level you said you're at with a company?
It's called Presidential Diamond.
So that it sounds pretty honorific. That's pretty high up ranking. So what tips would you have to somebody else that might think that they fall into that category of, I don't know too many people, I live in a small town? It's obviously been successful for you. How has it been successful for you?
Like I said, when I started, I had no intention to build a huge team or anything like that. I just shared it with my friends and family, and then they, several of them jumped on board and then shared it with people they know. And in the mob, we talk about how, the average person, I think, knows 250 people. And it's not always about them buying a product from you, but it's about building a relationship with them and them referring others to you and that kind of thing. And I think, it can snowball in a way, but it does take consistent work. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. You don't get to, you don't become a millionaire overnight or anything like that. It does take work, but at the same time, I do love this because I think that compared to other, like the American 9-to-5 dream, you can put in the same amount of hours and you can work overtime or whatever, and you may not be able to increase your pay.
If you're going to do air quotes, you got to actually say air quotes because it's
For
not a
listeners.
visual medium.
There we go.
I talk with my hands a lot. I kind of went in circles there, but
No.
like when I was a teacher, I could put in, a huge amount of effort and make, my lesson plans the greatest ever and be the greatest PE teacher on earth. I'm still going to get paid the same salary as if I, sit in the bleachers and read a newspaper and throw a ball out there.
Sure.
And so there's a difference with network marketing, and especially with It Works, I feel like I can write my own paycheck. The harder I work, the more people I talk to, the more people I share with, the more parties I have or whatever, I can build my business and build my paycheck.
I thought it was interesting you talked about, it's not that, I think some people think of work from home businesses oftentimes, or at least maybe they don't think this way, but they treat them as less hours. So it sounds like you're putting as much effort in. It's just you get to choose what hours. Instead of a 9-to-5 schedule, you are working with the same amount of effort. You're just doing it at a time that is convenient for you and for your family and that type of thing, which it really plays into anyone who wants to stay at home or anyone who has other interests that are more daylight sensitive, let's say.
Exactly. Our motto in It Works is friendships, fun, and freedom. And I really didn't take that to heart until I had been around for a while, and now I understand that. I understand what freedom is. And to me, it's not necessarily financial freedom. The money is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But to me, it's about more freedom of time to work when I want, where I want. Like I said, I love sports. I have a huge passion for sports, and I lived in Kansas City and hardly ever got to go to a Chiefs game because I had basketball practice on Sundays. Right. And, I lived 5.5 hours away from my younger brothers who were playing sports, and I didn't get to go to, for one of them, I missed every single game in 3 different sports for 2 years because even if I left, in time on a Friday after practice, I'm not going to get there for a game. And so to me, that was heartbreaking. I mean, I loved my job, but I love my family more. And to miss out on that kind of stuff is a big deal to me. And now, that brother happens to be a senior, and I'm not going to miss any games this year because I have the freedom to travel all over the state of Missouri or wherever I want to go.
We've tried several times to schedule things on Friday nights, and she can't go because of the football game she hasn't there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Priorities.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame her, but still, it's a little frustrating. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I will say you obviously have been on Facebook for a while, and I looked back on some of your old stuff, and in 2009 and 10, you had a whole bunch of, yeah, I know. I was hoping that would be the reaction. There was an awful lot of get to know you questions, and it's funny. There was a time from late 2009 into 2010 where you answered a lot of questions, like 48 things about me and all of that.
Oh my.
Yeah, you got to delete those if you don't want people to look back and find interesting information. So I have a couple of personal questions. You don't have to answer them, but first of all, it said that one of the questions was, does anybody call you perfect? And you said Brett does every once in a while. This was before you were married.
Oh, yeah.
And so my question was, after 6 years of marriage, you've been married 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he still occasionally call you perfect?
I haven't heard that in a while. I'm going to have to remind him of that.
Yeah, honeymoon's over. Okay, moving on. And another follow-up question about Brett in particular was, you said that your dad was a great dad. and that Brett has a lot to live up to. Has he fulfilled that? So I mean, if he's not calling you perfect, here's your chance to kind of get him back.
Here's my chance to throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
He is becoming a great dad. It was new to him. He's an only child.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think he'd ever held a baby before. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's been around my brothers a lot, but they weren't, little babies when he came around. So the baby phase was difficult for him, especially our first one had colic, and he cried a lot. And so that was a little bit rough. But now he's 3 years old, and Daddy is his best friend for sure.
Right.
They go fishing and, play sports constantly, and he's a great dad. He's got a great father too, so he was taught well.
And you had wished for 2 or 3 boys and then a daughter. But then also in the subsequent thing, you said that you weren't sure if you wanted any girls because you weren't sure you could relate to them at all, which was kind of funny. So do you, after having 2 boys, are you interested still in having a daughter, or are you just completely out on that subject?
That's funny because we've been talking about that a lot lately.
Oh. Topical.
I used to always want a big family. Like, I have 4 brothers. My parents are both remarried, so I have 2 on each side. But still, I'm used to boys. I obviously am kind of a tomboy. I love sports, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with a girl. I have a niece, and I struggle trying to put her hair in a ponytail and that kind of thing. But at this point, I would like to have a daughter just for the relationship, that I have with my mom and that kind of thing. But there's some days where I think we might be done. I don't know.
I grew up with 2 sisters, and my wife grew up with 3 sisters. So I didn't have a brother, she didn't have a brother, and our first 2 children were boys. And which was fine by me because, of course, as a male who likes sports, you can always relate to your sons, and we do well. And our 3rd child was a daughter, and Heidi just was so ecstatic about being able to dress her in pink and putting her all this stuff. And Juliana has turned into such a girly girl because Heidi just had to have her little play doll. So that's kind of funny. You don't seem like the play doll kind.
No, but my mom and my grandmas and my aunt are, and they want me to have a girl, so they say they're going to turn her into a cheerleader and have bows in her hair, and I don't know about that.
Now, obviously, with It Works and things, you do a lot of social media and type a lot of stuff out. Has your spelling improved at all?
Thank God for autocorrect.
Okay, good. That was something. I don't have very many more, and they're not too bad, so don't worry too much. She's nervously looking over at the piece of paper that I have notes written on. So
Ryan did his homework today.
Yeah, I did. I thought this would be.
I was not expecting this.
Yeah, it's just I thought it'd be more fun. 2 more things. You said something. This was, actually on October 5th of 2009. You said the question was, "How do you feel about your life right now?" And I'd like to know what your answer is now, and see if it's similar to the one you gave then.
I have no idea what I would have said back then, but
we'll just answer for now.
I think it's pretty perfect. I'm very happy. Feel very blessed. I've always been kind of a worrywart, so sometimes I think something bad's got to happen because life's pretty great right now. But
that is actually very similar. And one of the things you said earlier about excitement sells. I also think people with a positive attitude and a positive outlook on things also sells. And I think that's, what you said then was you love it and that you were very lucky. So it's almost essentially exactly what you said just now.
Oh, we got some knocking going on.
Yeah, I guess the neighbor is hammering something into the wall.
That's perfect timing for the podcast.
That's what I was thinking. Great timing.
One last thing. You said something about one of the things you didn't necessarily like about yourself was that you talk too much. So
that hasn't changed.
Well, no, and we thought, we're very pleased about that because
works well with a podcast.
Yeah, it makes the podcast a whole lot better when whenever someone's willing to to continue talking.
My elementary teachers might disagree.
Well, luckily, this is the exact kind of setting where talkative youngsters need to grow up and be a guest on a podcast every week.
So one of the things that really surprised me about It Works, I did a little Googling prior to coming over here and noticed that the company itself had $1.2 billion in revenue over the course of the last 3 years. That number surprised me. It's a pretty commendable figure as far as business revenue taken in from a company that was billion with a B. And it got me thinking, A, I was surprised at the number, and then B, for somebody that had never even heard of the company just a few months ago, how is it that a company like that could fly under the radar, aside from it just being kind of a word-of-mouth social media type marketing campaign? And also for somebody that might be like starting out in the company brand new, since you've achieved success, you've worked your way up their ranks, what tips would you give to somebody to help get over that hump for somebody like me that's never even heard of the company before?
For your first question, it definitely is not saturated. I still meet people like you that have never heard of this business on a daily basis, and that's in Springfield, Missouri, where I have several friends around here, several teammates that are successful with this, and myself, I've been doing this for 4.5 years, and I feel like everyone knows about it, but they don't. So it's awesome that we are still in a growth period like that. We have just over 100,000 distributors, and that's worldwide. That's in 18 different countries. And to just kind of give you an idea, compared to like Mary Kay has over 2 million here in the United States. So,
wow.
Yeah, we have. It's definitely unsaturated. I actually had a distributor on my team recently in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and that's where the company actually started. And 2 of our highest rank, we call Black Diamonds, actually live there in that same town. And she was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome. Nobody in Michigan sells this. Nobody's heard of this." And I was like, "You live in the same town as the 2 highest ranked people in our entire company." So that was pretty liberating to me to just, it's just reassuring that we are not saturated, and you won't ever see our wraps on the shelf at Walmart or see it advertised on TV. We are a belly-to-belly business, and Mark and Cindy Pentecost are the CEO and owner of our company, and they want this to continue to be about building relationships with people, and so it will always be like that, and that's one of the things I love about it too.
So I have a quick question. They're Black Diamonds, is that what you called them? How long until, because I know you have that level of ambition and competitiveness in you, and I'm sure that is a goal in your mind to at least someday achieve. Is that something that is obtainable for you, or is it way out of the blue?
It's definitely attainable, but it's quite a ways off right now in my mind, which, like I said, when I started this company, I never thought I'd be a presidential diamond. So it's definitely, to give you an idea of what that is, our Black Diamond is more of a status than a rank. Ambassador Diamond is our highest rank. And to be a Black Diamond, it is a person who is an Ambassador Diamond who, for 6 months in a row, you qualify if you make over $100,000 a month for 6 months in a row. Okay. So, like he said, this being a billion-dollar company, the earning potential is insane, right. And it's very real. A lot of people, question that and are blown away by the income potential with this.
You and I have had a little bit of discussion, and I'm not going to bring up any details because that's just rude, but it was surprising to anyone who is listening to this who is interested in something on the side. It very easily can become a pretty big deal in your family. It can change your life.
Yeah, there's so many people in this company who have we call rewired instead of retired from their jobs, including me. Like I said, I was a PE teacher and coach, and within a few months I was matching that salary pretty easily. And, within a few years, way over the top of that. And like I said, it's not to me necessarily about the financial freedom, but for some people, they've retired their husbands, and my husband asked me that, do I have to quit my job? I'm like, no, absolutely not. So it's definitely an amazing, to me, an opportunity and a different opportunity than, the American lifestyle of you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, you get a 9-to-5 job, and then you retire and you scrape by and then you die. And there's definitely more out there, and more that I ever knew even existed, really.
I would encourage anybody that is, again, listening to this to contact Summer, and, if you're interested in the products, but also if you're just interested in the opportunity. And I'm sure you love fielding those types of phone calls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be something that turns into a full-time career. There are people that do this as a hobby, and that's perfectly fine. But if you hate your job or something like that, you have the opportunity to replace it, and it can become a full-time career.
And actually, that's Everything you just said reminded me of something that I saw earlier today. I believe in synchronicities, so when I see something and it pops back up in a few hours, I always try to just vocalize it just to find meaning there if there is any to be found. And this isn't a softball question, so I'll just give you that precursor. As I was perusing on Facebook earlier today, I saw a friend of mine who basically made a post where I'm sure he had probably seen something on somebody's Facebook wall, but the whole rant, paragraph and a half rant, was typically or specifically about how mid-level marketing companies, it's just a big scam, it's a pyramid scheme, and he used a couple of words that would indicate to me that he was probably talking about It Works and maybe a couple other companies all lumped in together. And so for somebody like him, somebody that's a skeptic, somebody that doesn't believe in the product line or just the ability to earn the earning potential that you've referenced here, how would you sway his opinion, or how would you basically bring him into the fold to make him realize that, no, that's just your opinion, it's not actually the reality of the company I work for?
We get skeptics all the time, and I love skeptics about the products because I want to prove them wrong and make them try a wrap. You have to see it to believe it in a lot of things. But as far as like pyramid scheme and that kind of thing, it's definitely something that is, a lot of people think that way. And, I didn't know what I was getting into in the beginning either. And I thought, maybe this was just going to be something that was temporary and only around for a little while. And I've definitely learned that it's not. I mean, like I have already made a reference to Mary Kay, that's been around for a long time. And I know that It Works isn't going anywhere either. But ultimately, it's about education. I would, encourage them to do a little research like you did, or I can answer questions specifically for them. But I like to compare it to, Walmart is a pyramid scheme. There's a CEO at the top of the company, and if you, start working at Walmart or any company tomorrow, you're not going to be able to surpass that person who's at the top. And, there's managers, and then there's supervisors, and all the way down. And with It Works, it's actually kind of different because you can surpass anyone. I have several people on my team that have, surpassed their sponsors. Their sponsors have, quit. Life gets, in the way or whatever, and they choose to go a different path. And you can definitely, what we call, write your own paycheck and make. And I hate talking more about the money because that's not what this is all about. But it is.
It might be for some people.
Yeah, right. It is. And honestly, that's why most people join this business, is because they do need some extra income. But
I think you kind of answered that in a great way. As far as I wish he was sitting here so he could have heard that, and I'll make him listen to the podcast later. You had referenced, of course, that the company is known for the wraps, the crazy wrap thing, and earlier you had made reference to there's other products and supplements and stuff. What's another product that you feel really works really well, or something that maybe you or your family have tried and you can testify based on experience that, yes, this does what it says it does? Is there anything you have that jumps out at you?
Yeah, we have an entire skincare line, and then we have nutritional supplements, and our greens is in the nutritional supplement line, and that is probably our number 2 seller. And I believe everyone should be on the greens. And it is a powder.
Why is that?
Well, it's a powder form. It's a supplement for giving you 8 servings of fruits and vegetables, 38 superfoods. So you're getting the nutrients that your body needs. It's also has a probiotic in it for your digestive health. It helps balance your pH system, so it's going to help fight off illnesses, diseases. For me personally, I've been taking them for 4.5 years basically, and it gives you an increased energy level as well. And I have, knock on wood, not had to see a doctor for being sick in that many years. I used to get strep throat about 3 times a year, always had, bad colds and things. And if I do feel a cold coming on or something like that, I'll double up on my greens and kick that. Same thing with a headache. I used to get headaches all the time. When I was coaching, this is awful, but I would drink Mountain Dew and pop 2 Advil before every practice because I had a headache by the end of the day, wearing my hair in a ponytail all day at work, and just kids screaming and basketballs bouncing in the gym all day. And now we don't even have Advil in our house. I don't have headaches anymore. I have, the greens, it is a daily detox. And so I just think everyone needs to be on the greens. They help with so many things.
Summer, I think this has gone pretty well. I mean, is there anything else in particular that we haven't touched on that you'd like to bring up about It Works or about yourself? I mean, aside from your spelling woes.
Just the friendships, fun, and freedom thing that I had talked about earlier. I think for a lot of people, like I said, it's not necessarily about the money, but the business opportunity has brought me so many new friendships that I didn't know I needed. Like I said before, I kind of have always connected better with guys. I had a lot of guy friends growing up, and brothers and things. And the women that I've met through this are just so empowering, and I love getting together with them. We get together for lunches and parties every once in a while and things, and we go to events. We go to Florida twice a year because that's where our headquarters is, and we have big events, and it's so much fun. And I think for people that maybe are a stay-at-home mom and they just have lost their self, I think for me, if I didn't have It Works right now and I was just staying home with my kids, I think you are around little ones all day long and you miss out on adult conversation. And I think sometimes the friendships that you build through this can be even more important. And that's one of the things that I feel very blessed about. And we have a lot of fun together. And so sometimes it's not just about finding, the financial freedom or whatever, but just giving not necessarily just a woman, a man too, but giving maybe a stay-at-home mom that sense of being able to bring in some extra income or just get out of the house and go hang out with other women and, help support the family or whatever that may be.
We have grilled you for the last, 30, 45 minutes here. So do you have anything, thought we'd at least give you the opportunity to turn the tables on us like we did Taylor last week. Do you have anything for Jason or I that you'd like to put us on the spot about, especially considering I went through and looked at some of your past Facebook stuff?
Oh, I've been drinking this energy drink. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have anything like written down or anything, but
right.
I agree with what Taylor had talked about last week. You guys talked about with like the puns and stuff. That's something that you're getting Tax Break's name out there without, pressuring. But other than that, like, what is kind of your favorite part about this business and like what you do and the relationships that you build? And I think the mob has been a big, sorry, I'm kind of going off here, but the mob has been great for me. Like, I love it. Like I had said, being around empowering women, it's kind of the same thing with the mob, like getting to be around people who are passionate about what they do and who, choose what they do and get to talk about it every week and share. I think it's pretty neat and I really enjoy it. So I just, want to know a little bit about more about what you love about Tax Break.
Well, Tax Break, I kind of brought it up last week a little bit too. Outside of tax season, which is kind of fun, but that almost becomes transactional where someone will walk in, get their taxes done, then leave, and maybe you'll see them year after year after year, and you can develop some sort of a relationship with them. But what I like about Tax Break versus what I've done in the past about anything else is it's very relationship-based. There's a company that we are helping. We helped build their startup plan, their business plan that goes to their bank, and so we're getting in on the ground floor with them, and hopefully everything will go well with their bank loan. And whenever that goes through, then we're going to do their accountants, and do their books and do all of those things. And to watch someone, you've talked a lot about the American dream, and to watch someone from the very, very beginning of their American dream and help them through that process and learn about businesses that I've never known anything about, to understand that there's a lot of interconnectivity between businesses. Sometimes there's principles that go, if you're in the water technology business, or if you're in a salon, or if you're a restaurant, or if you have an equipment company, there are certain principles that go between all of them, but then they're all very specific based on how your goals and your plans. And for me, being a naturally curious person who likes lots of different things rather than just being stuck doing the same thing over and over again, it's been really interesting to watch and learn a lot about other businesses. And hopefully for me, my ambition is then to get involved in more and more of those startups, and in fact maybe even enable people to get into those startups rather than just helping them do it, maybe even find partners to work on that. That would be a big ambition of mine.
That's really cool. Huh. And like I had touched on the American dream, I think that's one thing that I know network marketing is not everyone's dream. And and I think it just the what it's brought to me is the realization that there are so many other things out there, and I think it's really important to do something that you're passionate about, and I think being able to start your own business is awesome, and whatever that may be. And that's one of the things I love about the mob too, is everybody is, you know, representing something that they're passionate about, and they're, you know, getting to be your own boss kind of thing. I think that's
I've met many people based on our group and some of the other groups, and real friends. Melissa Bittle, who will be here next week, is just become a very good friend of my family's. Taylor's been to my house several times. As I said, if you'd stop going to Thayer on Friday nights, we'd have more time to connect. But actually, you know, and I've got to give Jason some real props here, because this has been a lot of fun to me. Even just a couple of these episodes, we have more and more people that have agreed and very excited about coming on and doing the podcast, and hopefully we'll get a good listenership, and people will start kind of listening to learn more about the individuals that are on. But none of this would have happened had it not been for the network marketing. I became the leader of the 38 Special group, and then it just so happens that one of the other leaders of one of the other groups works in Jason's office. She'll be on the show here in a couple weeks, Leah. And she talked Jason into coming into, to come see our group. And it's just funny how things work out, that the network marketing has led us to this place, and who knows where this leads. And, Jason, I know you've been working on podcasts a lot lately. Maybe to jump in to ask you a question as opposed to Summer, you've talked a lot about doing these podcasts and things, and I know you were involved in a couple of other ones. I mean, maybe start talking, give us a little information about that, if that's all right.
The podcast thing is something that just kind of popped up. It wasn't even on my radar. I listen to a lot of podcasts in my free time. I'm an oddball. I don't really watch television. I don't remember the last time I turned on the radio in my car. It's typically what I want to see or listen to. It gets screened that way. And we had, I've always been into audio something my entire life. I've been a singer. I've been a dancer. I've been a guitar player. I've been in a rock band. I've been in a DJ for the last probably 10 plus years. And the DJing thing was getting kind of old. I'm getting kind of old. I didn't want to spend every weekend in a bar around a bunch of drunken strangers. And so I still have all this equipment sitting in my house that I've used, and it's just kind of been sitting there for the last year or so as I've kind of eased into my DJ retirement, it feels like. And then I had a friend that basically came up with the idea of doing a podcast to specifically speak about this website that he and I are both on. Just basically, we were having a conversation every time we ran into him about it, so he decided, let's record it, and that's how this started. And as you said, they're a lot of fun. It's something I never thought about jumping into, and after the very first time, I was like, well, this is the next progression as to where my audio hobbies go, is in this podcasting. And what I like the most about it is I love talking to people. I love hearing people's stories, and more important than that, I like to get past that first shell that we all wrap ourselves in when we walk out of our homes and say, okay, I refer to it in my first-person sense. It would be, okay, I'm in business Jason mode. So when I'm at the office, I'm business Jason. But then when I get home or on a weekend, I'm not business Jason. And so having those conversations, especially in a podcast setting, it's not some canned radio speech. It's not something scripted. It's basically sitting down and trying to get past that veil that we wrap ourselves in to find out who you are and why you do what you do. What are you passionate about? And before this conversation today, I knew Summer as Summer from It Works in my networking group. She sells this product line. This is the company she's affiliated with, and that's about all the information I have. And now I see the bigger picture of you believe in the product line. Your situation in your past is kind of it all lined up for this to work out for you. It has worked out for you. This is why it's working for you now, and those are the things I like to hear about.
Yeah, now you know her as Summer the Optimist who can't spell very well.
That's true.
Yes.
Love that autocorrect.
Summer, any last words or anything else?
So do we have any final thoughts on the energy drink?
Oh, I think it's great.
It's tasty. I really like it. I'm really skeptical about lots of things. Like I said, I'm a weirdo. So energy drinks in general, I just shy away from. And you threw this on the table, and I thought, okay, I guess I'll give it a shot. But no, it tastes good. It tastes very peachy.
Yes,
I like the flavor.
Yeah. And most energy drinks you probably should shy away from.
Sure. Yeah.
But
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
You mentioned your husband earlier. Do you need to give a shout out to his dental office?
Yeah, sure. It's Ward Family Dentistry. So again, American Dream. We got to start our own dental office. So he's getting to be his own boss, and he loves it. He comes home every day with gross stories, in my opinion. With I got to take someone's wisdom teeth out today, and this is so we're definitely not on the same page there. But he is very passionate about what he does, and he is in Buffalo, Missouri, which is a little bit of a drive, but I think it's worth it.
Sure. Jason, before maybe you close this out, I've got the last three things. First of all, if anyone was listening, and I was to Jason just there, he said he used to be a dancer.
I heard that too.
Yeah, very interested in this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. If you are listening to this and you're also interested in seeing Jason dance, maybe leave some comments about that so we know you're listening, and maybe we could coerce Jason with your help to maybe put a little video of some breakdancing or whatever. I don't know what kind of dancing. What kind of dancing was it, Jason?
I wish I could break dance. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this seems like many lifetimes ago, but like swing dancing and just stuff back in high school where everything was choreographed in a swing choir type setting, and
Nice.
then. Prior to DJing, when I was just a club attendee and really into the music, I would dance to the music, so like some pop and lock and some liquid stuff, and that's, like I said, that was a long time ago.
I'm sure if you've got it, you never lose it. So,
Right. I
but
bet you
maybe.
still got the moves.
It gets rusty.
Well, it's worth us. Let us judge if people coerce you into it.
A couple more energy drinks. And
Yeah.
There you go.
Look forward to Melissa Bittle from Melart Graphic Design coming in next week. On top of the fact that she's going to do the podcast with us, she's also going to do some redesign for our on the very, very generic logo that I created for the art this way, and she's doing it for us to help us out. And she's actually a pretty well versed in and has a lot of experience doing it professionally. So she's helping us out. So we're really, really thankful for her to do that. And she's also a lot of fun. Her and I have absolutely taken the wind out of a lot of meetings just by being the silliest and loudest two people within the room. So it could be a lot of fun if we can. Hopefully, Jason, you have your work cut out for us, keeping us in track next week.
I'll make sure the timer's running.
Yeah, and Summer, I just wanted to thank you for coming in and helping us. This has been fun. I am glad I got to do a little bit of research on you and put you on the spot a little bit. And hopefully you can come back anytime. There's always an extra chair.
Yeah.
Is there like a website or something that you can for your product line?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, am on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You can contact me through there, obviously. But my website is summerward, WARD.itworks.com. And then I also have a Facebook page, like a business page, which is It Works Wraps and More by Summer. So yeah, any of that. And then I also obviously have a phone, so you can text or call 417-280-6165. And I really appreciate you guys inviting me to do this. It's been really fun, and
Cool.
I hadn't known much about podcasts before this either. So
I'm not sure we do either. Well, Jason does.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Jason
I do.
does.
No, it's all a front.
If you look for Summer on Facebook, on top of calling her and the other pages, it's Summer
Jones Ward, yeah, that's my maiden name.
Yeah, so she has them both in there. That will keep her from being, misrepresented by another Summer Ward who may also accept your friend request but may not know what you're talking about. It works. So.
If you see lots of green and black, that's me.
Okay.
Well, yeah, thanks for joining us, Summer. I really enjoyed getting to know you better and hearing your backstory a little bit. It kind of personalizes your business a little more, and it seems like that company's doing really well for you, so I'm happy for you. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess this is the podcast this week. Thanks for everybody that's listening and tuning in. Sitting here with Summer Ward from It Works, and also host Ryan Welch with Tax Break. Looking forward to next week and all the weeks that follow. So thanks, everyone, and we hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.